The diner is open for business here on this November 3rd, 2025, as the date of this being recorded. So I am conscientiously wanting to step away more from politics. So we were going to try to balance this out. One of the big issues that we'll be talking about today is the question, are the Dodgers ruining baseball? And then when we're done talking about that, we'll definitely be talking about the SNAP benefits, the government shutdown. So if you're not interested in that, we'll talk about that later. Okay, the first thing we are going to be talking about is we're going to be talking some ball. Is that okay with you guys?
Oh yeah, That's fine. That's good.
All right. So I got to ask you guys before we really get into it, what teams do you root for?
Well, for the World Series, I was actually rooting for Toronto because I'm from Evansville, Indiana. I'm from the tri-state area, like the Indiana, Kentucky area. And the coach of the Blue Jays was Don Mattingly, and the Toronto Blue Jays was really doing good to going for it. And I was really hoping they would win. Unfortunately,
I love Don Mattingly too. He was a Dodger coach. He was their manager for many years.
Yeah, for me, like some of the teams I like the St. Louis Cardinals. That's the main team I root for.
In football, in the NFL, I side with the Packers and, even the Lions. For the other types of teams, hockey is a good sport. I side with the Stars, but, you could probably guess why. And I'm not much of a baseball guy, but, I do side with the Texas Rangers, which won the World Series just 2 short years ago.
All right. So I've been an LA guy because I'm born and raised in Southern California. So yes, I have been a lifelong Dodgers fan, born and raised. When the Dodgers won the World Series in 1988, I was only 10 months old. So I've been going to Dodger games since the 90s, especially. So by no means am I a bandwagon. Hockey, LA Kings first, Anaheim Ducks second. I will also root for the Angels. I'm always going to root for the Rams and the Lakers. When the Raiders were in LA, our family didn't really care about them.
Well, and it was really crazy too, because I just avoided, because I really was hoping, like in Game 6, when the Blue Jays were leading, that they would win, and I kind of put some money down, and then I lost. So then I was hoping there'd be a turnaround in Game 7, because I just avoided the game. But then I was watching the stream and they were talking about the game and they said they were tied, and then I was like, it kept going back and forth. There was like a 10th inning or something, and oh my goodness, it went crazy. Now, when it came to the Dodgers, I was fine last year, but just with this year, I was like, oh great. Another one of those teams that are now winning more than once, almost every year. Just with the Chiefs and the Panthers when it comes to NFL and the NHL.
But again, there's just been this topic of, oh my God, the Dodgers are ruining baseball. Like this is unfair. How could the Dodgers be doing this? What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I'll say this. Even though I didn't root for the Dodgers, the only reason being, even if I don't agree with them winning every year,
the Dodgers were inches away from losing it all multiple times. Game 6 could have been very much done, except then what happened is a line drive gets wedged into the fence, so it makes it into a dead ball in the bottom of the 9th, and then the Dodgers smartly said, no, it's a dead ball, so it gets ruled a ground rule double instead of the runners advancing to home plate. And then not too long after that, Kike Hernandez catches a line drive and then throws a second for a double play that ends the game, because the runners stupidly advanced instead of stayed near the base. But instead of waiting for the ball to go down.
Yeah, that was one thing that was real crazy about Game 6. There was 2 different chances for the Blue Jays. And I was just hoping the game the game would end, because there was at least a real shot, for it to be over 30 years since the last World Series. And actually, like I said earlier, I had put some money on it. That was the first and last times I'll do. That's the first time. That's probably the last time for a long while because of that.
Well, then the game 7 happens. I'm at work when this is happening, so I'm checking my phone, at first I'm saying, oh, it's 3-0 Blue Jays. All right, Dodgers. Okay, it's over. Quit checking the score. It's done. Blue Jays, congratulations. Like, I was ready to say, okay. And then I find out.
Yeah, and I was hoping for that too.
One reason why this could, them winning could spark some problems, and it's sparking, an uproar. And it's such an uproar is that the MLB's collective bargaining agreement with the players union ends after next year. And with the Dodgers, ultra high payroll, winning back-to-back World Series, is the argument for a salary cap comes reignited.
Sure. Now we'll get to that. I mean, that's definitely one of the big things that they're going on. But then, of course, you got to remember, Game 7, the Dodgers also were inches away from losing it. So they had, it was bottom of the ninth with the bases loaded, and the game goes into extra inning. So multiple times the Blue Jays were one swing away. They had a play at the plate where if the guy made it to the plate 1 inch before the ball landed into Will Smith's glove, the catcher, series over. Blue Jays world champions. It'd be a different story. But then the Will Smith home run happens, and then another series-ending double play ends the game. So for all the people that are thinking, oh my God, this is bad, many people after this World Series happened, they're going as far as saying this was possibly the greatest World Series ever played, if not one of them. Like up there with 2016, up there with 1991, like going up there with an all-time classic. A lot of the people are saying that.
Now when the Dodgers won this year, in 2025, it's like, oh, great. They're probably going to win almost every year in the World Series from now on. Now they won once or twice because, remember, Yankees won like 3 times, for example. And ironically, Dodgers beat the Yankees in World Series last year.
Well, the Yankees in the 90s, they won in 96 and then won 3 straight. So, of course, me as a lifelong Dodger fan, if they three-peat or if they win a bunch more, I'm not complaining, and definitely no Dodger fans.
I mean, that's good for you because that's good for you because you're a Dodgers fan. You're from Los Angeles. I've also known other people online who are fans of the Dodgers. But some other people that want other teams to win, it does kind of suck. I mean, here's the thing. Some said the same thing about the Bulls. Here's the thing. Michael Jordan's a good player in the NBA, and the Bulls won the finals like 4 years in a row, and I think people got tired of that. It's just the same with NFL. People got tired of the Chiefs winning almost every year, at least. Same thing with Patriots. The Patriots won almost every year, too, with the NFL in the Super Bowl.
So here's your correction. The Bulls won 3 straight years in a row, twice. They won 3 years in a row. Jordan retired, went to go play baseball for a year, and then he came back when that baseball strike happened, and then he wins 3 more, and then retires again as a Bull. And then that last season, that was famously documented. It's in that whole Netflix docuseries, The Last Dance. So you can all look up the drama behind that stuff on a different occasion. But also when Michael Jordan and the Bulls were in their heyday, that was when basketball was basically at its most popular.
It was the peak of the NBA, and Michael Jordan certainly was the peak NBA player.
For me, the most interesting period of the Lakers was the Kobe and Shaq era, when they won 3 straight years in a row. And I know everybody was like, fuck the Lakers. How could they keep doing that? Like, I get the whole sentiment of, oh my God, I don't like the same team winning over and over and over again. But that's okay. That's a test to how good that team is, how good the team is on the field, or on the court, on the ice, and off of the ice. So the front office, the general manager, the acquisitions, the staff running the team. Like, it's a testament to that whole organization. So right now, the Dodgers are the best organization in baseball, and they have been for many years.
I almost would have said, like they're rigged. Like, oh, they've already chosen which team wins before it happens.
I mean, if it was rigged, then how the hell did that ball just get lodged in the fence? Like, that's like a 1 in a million play.
And seriously.
Yeah,
That's
and yes,
why
the
I feel
Dodgers
bad.
lucked out of that. Go ahead.
That's why I feel bad for the Blue Jays because they were so close on so many times. It was unbelievable. It was like madness. It was wild.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's Toronto.
that's-
They're Maple Leafs fans. They're used to their players losing on home ice.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
don't get me wrong. With NHL, I'll admit the Maple Leafs they do suck. I'll admit the Maple Leafs do suck. But since the Blue Jays got so close, I was hoping for another team to win. I kind of was thinking that a little. I know some said, "Oh, should have root for the Dodgers," but I'm like, they get so close. They were like back and forth. You never know.
Oh, it really was a gut wrenching series. And to me, it was like the sequel to a Hollywood movie. Last year, there was no doubt in my mind the Dodgers were going to win. We're going to beat the Yankees. Even when they were down 5-0, I thought, okay, we're still going to win the series. And then the Yankees pulled the biggest choke job on their home field, which was spectacular for me to watch. Not for Yankees fans, but for everybody else, that was great. And this year the stakes get higher. They get injured throughout the year. And for all the complaining about payrolls, all right, let's just talk about this for a second. Okay, so yes, if you're going to say the Dodgers are the top team with the highest payroll, okay, do you know who number 2 was? Brick or Adam?
No.
Like the number 1 is what wins the World Series. So the number 2
I'm talking
is what
I'm talking just payroll. So
Second highest payroll.
The teams with the top payroll, like this is why there's the cries for a salary cap and that these big market teams are paying too much money and they're out competing the small market teams. Like that's where their cries are coming from. So do you know
the small market teams that can't afford to pay great players that much and could easily lose them to free agency?
But that's the other thing. So I'm going to ask you again, who is the next runner-up on the highest payroll? Do you know who that is?
No.
The New York Mets. So let's say the Dodgers had a $350 million payroll. The New York Mets is $341. And do you know how good the Mets did this season?
Well, no, but I don't think they made it to the playoffs.
Bingo. They didn't make the playoffs. The second highest paid team in the league did not make the playoffs. Third runner-up. Money doesn't buy championships. When they complain, oh my God, the Dodgers bought their championships, the next runner-up didn't even make the playoffs.
Go figure.
Third runner-up, Philadelphia Phillies. They choke against the Dodgers in the NLDS. Like literally their series ended on a pitcher panicking when he threw home and he missed the catcher and allowed the Dodger runner to score. Phillies fans were definitely pissed off about that. That many of these teams with this payroll, they could pay their players more if they wanted to, but a lot of this is just cheap owners that don't. 73% of the revenue that the Dodgers get, it goes to the players. So that's why they're paying more for these players. Meanwhile, you got the Marlins, they only spent 27% of their revenue on players. And do you know who the best team in baseball was this year? It wasn't the Dodgers in the regular season. Who was the best team with the regular season? It was the Milwaukee Brewers. They had the best record in the league in the regular season.
Oh yeah, I remember. I think I remember. Speaking of which, I remember the Brewers and the Cubs were getting pretty close, and I think they didn't make it. They were at the NLDS, whatever that was, NLCS.
Then going into the National League Series, people were saying, "Oh, the Brewers, they went 6-0 against the Dodgers in the regular season. Ha ha ha! Good luck, Dodgers. The Brewers are just too good." And then what ended up happening is the Dodgers swept the Brewers out of the series. And then they went back to, oh my God, that's unfair. Like, make up your fucking mind, people.
The thing is, I don't even like the Brewers, especially since I like the St. Louis Cardinals and I like the Chicago Cubs more. So when it comes to either one of them against the Brewers, I'll just root for either one of them.
But even as good of a team as they are, their players are underpaid. They have one of the lowest payrolls in the team. So the NLCS was basically the highest payroll team in the National League and one of the lowest payroll teams. So Houston Astros, Anaheim Angels, the San Francisco Giants, they all had high payrolls and none of them made the playoffs. The Texas Rangers did not make the playoffs. So this whole thing, they're just buying their championships, it's bullshit.
Well, I can tell you this, I know that there's there are teams that pay some of their players or their key players a huge amount of money. So the most amount of money of either any player or any type of player, like a quarterback or running back ever, and they would still mess up or even, fall apart. I mean, just look at, one of my closest teams, the Cowboys, the richest sports franchise possibly in the history of the whole world, and they still haven't won a single divisional game for longer than I've been alive.
Everyone else is happy with that.
Oh yeah. I'm actually okay with that for certain other reasons, but
well, and the thing is, the Dodgers are not a bunch of prima donna divas. They're not the San Diego Padres. You don't really get a lot of controversy with any other players. Like, they're a very lovable group. Well, not only that, but the Dodgers, they just have the right people running the team, and they've acquired the right talent. Okay, so you're going to say, oh my God, they're OP. They got too many stars. Okay, well, Mookie Betts was the Red Sox franchise player. He even won the World Series against the Dodgers in 2018. But then when Boston decided they didn't want to pay him, Dodgers said, oh yeah, we'll pay you. Come over here.
Yeah,
Freddie
that's
Freeman.
the only reason why some players, like you said, some players like from the St. Louis Cardinals, Boston Red Sox, like they were able to get him a contract for a higher pay. That's the only reason, I guess.
Well, same thing with Freddie Freeman. This is an all-star first baseman, all-star hitter for the Atlanta Braves, wins a World Series with the Atlanta Braves, and the Braves choose not to pay him, so the Dodgers say, yeah, we'll pay you.
That can explain me and other people's frustrations. Like, the Dodgers get all the people, like, from all the other teams, like the teams I and other people at least root for.
Sure, but that's the thing, is these other teams are not doing the things that the Dodgers are doing. So that's what's frustrating them. So while they're complaining that the Dodgers are, they're buying up all the superstars.
Do you think it's possible that there's going to be another lockout? I think when it comes to preventing like things like this, where they have teams like Dodgers and others winning every year, there could probably be a lockout. Do you think a lockout will happen?
I hope a lockout doesn't happen. But if it's going to be about a salary cap thing, I don't think the players will agree to a salary cap. All right, so do you think that there should be a salary cap, Adam or Brick?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that would be a good thing or or not, for the entire league. The thing is that if there are some players or a certain player or team that even if they're in the playoffs, they dramatically underperform and flop, then yeah, I don't think they should get a pay raise. But the thing is that, it can be a good thing, but it can also, hinder a team in the league from going as far as possible and winning the most championships in a row possible. But since the Dodgers have just won the World Series for the second year in a row, and people are complaining about the amount of money they pay their players, and with a real possibility that they could do it again.
But the same people that are complaining that, oh my God, the Dodgers are too good, these are the same people that laughed at the Dodgers when they were choking in the postseason for over a decade. When the Dodgers lost back-to-back World Series in 2017, 2018, they were howling and cheering that. And then when they won the World Series in 2020, they were all calling that a Mickey Mouse championship because it was the COVID-shortened season. But now that they're winning again, oh my God, now they're ruining baseball. We need a salary cap. They can't keep doing this. No, you need to get your owners to do it. You need to get your owners to invest in your players.
Yeah, they just definitely need to pay the players regardless of what team fair. I just don't want them underpaid, but I wouldn't want them too overpaid. Like, I just at least want things to go different, so that way, like it's at least more fair for the other teams. So even after like a few times where some teams had their shine to win, other teams could probably win the next year or the year after that. That's the only reason why I mentioned the possibility of a lockout, to prevent like certain teams winning every year.
So what about a salary floor where there's a minimum amount that owners must pay their players?
I mean, that could be a good thing because you don't want to, pay too little to each of your players. And, you don't want, crooked people or, crooked people to, to mess that up.
Maybe a salary floor, but everybody complaining about the Dodgers ownership, they wish their owners were doing the same thing. They haven't been ruining baseball. They've been making it the most interesting since probably the steroid era. I mean, I cannot tell you how many people I see wearing Shohei Ohtani jerseys in the LA area. They have players that are marketable, and they are putting out a product that people are willing to buy and invest in. So why should they get punished because, the White Sox don't want to pay their players? Oh no, the Marlins don't want to pay their players. Like, the Dodgers shouldn't be punished for that.
Say is the World Series like 2025. What a letdown! It just sucked. I'm just hoping there's at least two new teams or some different outcome next year.
I'm hoping the Dodgers repeat, baby. We can do with another repeat.
Oh yeah, as I said before.
Oh goodness gracious!
They ain't like us, baby. So now, if you don't like politics, if you're not into the political stuff, you don't have to keep listening on. So let's talk government shutdown. Let's talk SNAP benefits. Guys, why the hell is the government being shut down for as long as it is?
I think it's because the Democrats, like, they don't want to agree on certain things. Like, they want to fund healthcare for illegals. They want to give illegal immigrants benefits and such like that. And they're just they just refuse to agree with what the Republicans want, at least.
And how many times has the government been shut down by chance?
Oh, a lot of times.
Many times.
It seems like it's an occurrence with every president now. Like,
Well,
I remember. Go ahead.
With Trump and all that.
Oh yeah, but it's every president but two since at least Gerald Ford. The exceptions, of course, would be George W. Bush and Joe Biden. There was not a single government shutdown under those two presidents. Everyone else, unfortunately, did.
Yeah, there was shutdowns under Clinton, Obama, and of course Trump. I remember the last one, the last term, and of course the current one now.
Yeah, and the longest government shutdowns are the two that are under Donald Trump. What a thought. And the last government shutdown lasted for 35 days, and this one is likely about to break that record. In I'm not sure how many days. I think it's going to be, at least from this recording, I think 2 more days. 2 or 3.
Yeah, we shall see.
And you have, and I do think it's not just on Democrats. I think it's also on Republican leaders as well. They cannot agree on certain things with the budget and on legislation to keep things going, and that's how we got the government shutdown. That's often the reason why government shutdowns happen.
Okay, but it's basically one party's not getting what they want, so they're like, okay, we're going to shut down. And then other party says, reopen it, and the other party says, no, we're going to stay shut down. Meanwhile, as this is happening, because of what's going on, that means there are people that rely on government assistance, like food stamps or whatever, that are not getting their benefits because of this.
Yeah, this month alone, And not only that, there are some federal air traffic controllers at airports that are not being paid because of this shutdown. And
well, I'm sure they're going to get back paid. Like I think when they actually get back in, they'll get the money that they're owed.
when they reopen, I'm sure it could happen. But still, thus far throughout this whole shutdown, air traffic controllers are not being paid, which is also very unfortunate.
That's a
Now,
shame.
of course-
That's stupid. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds
And
me of back in the last Trump government shutdown that the Coast Guard was not getting paid, and even Ted Cruz was basically begging for them to be paid. But as you were saying,
yeah, speaking of SNAP or food stamps, like the president, for example, Trump even said he wants to still continue to fund food stamps. He doesn't want people to go hungry. But for some of those people, I'm sure some of the ones that are on assistance, they could try to work to get certain money to pay for food. At least when it comes to food stamps, I don't think it should pay for junk food or soda or certain things that you should pay actual money for. It should be only for certain foods that you should get.
You go
foods,
to a fast food restaurant, they say EBT accepted. You go to a convenience store and they accept EBT because they don't care. That's money that's going to go to them. But a lot of people will buy free sodas and whatever, then they empty out the sodas and then they go take the soda bottles to the recycle bin and then they get their money that way. And many people have said, no, a lot of people that are on these EBT and SNAP benefits, they're able-bodied people that just don't want to work. They just don't want to get a job.
Because now some people are complaining, oh, I have to work 16 hours just to afford food. It's like I work a few hours, 8 hours, sometimes longer than that. At least I still have regular money to pay for food and such. Even if you're disabled or something, you can still get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I do believe in reforming a lot of these welfare programs that, of course, require work as well as other things like drug testing. But for the ones that are actually poor or something like that, and they are not taking advantage of these programs that way, those are the ones to be concerned about.
You mean the ones that pretend to be disabled and don't want to work at all?
No, not those guys. I'm not referring to those. We don't know how long this is going to last, and we don't know how long this shutdown is going to last. But the thing is that, the fact that Trump has not pursued welfare reform like we should be doing in his term so far, and suddenly this government shutdown has happened, which has basically sparked this. It shows that Trump is not entirely prioritizing or aiming to do the right things that our country should be doing.
Gavin Newsom was on Twitter and he's just like, oh my God, you're having an expensive ballroom dinner, like a big dinner party while all these people are suffering and poor. And then meanwhile, people are able to quickly point out, Gavin Newsom, you were caught breaking COVID protocol going to an expensive restaurant while people were locked down.
And again, what a pencil dick.
Yep, that's basically that's Gavin Newsom. So, I mean, we do agree. Yes, we would like the Democrats and Republicans to figure this shit out and reopen the government, because yes, there are people that genuinely do need to get their food stamps. They need their health insurance. But in the end of the day, okay, if they're saying, okay, no, we don't want health insurance for illegal aliens, why would you give health insurance to people that don't belong in the country in the first place?
I do think that I don't believe in giving undocumented immigrants health care except for emergency care. But other than that, no. And also when it comes to the importance of reopening the government is also remember, air traffic controllers and other federal workers that are out of work, or even if they are still working, they're not getting paid at all.
Don't forget people who work at national parks too.
So with that said, the diner is closed. Thank you so much for listening. And then stay tuned for the next Burgers and Fries. If you want to keep these podcasts going, keep commenting, keep liking them, keep engaging, and then we will definitely come back quicker than later. I'm Desert Cow 22. Thanks for listening. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.
I'm out.
I'm Atomical. See ya.